Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it and I hope that this video finds you well. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at one of the newest releases by the company Zara. And this one has been getting a lot of hype lately. A lot of people have been talking about it here on YouTube. And this one is called Warm Black. So make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Zara Warm Black, and I guess this one is part of the Black collection because there are a couple other fragrances from this collection which I also purchased. But before I begin this review, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of this type of content here on YouTube, if you like fragrance reviews, top 10 lists, giveaways, unboxings, all that good stuff, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you got to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, while you're at it, please make sure to enable notifications by clicking on that bell. So Zara Warm Black, you know, when I looked at the note breakdown for all three of these fragrances, this one was definitely the one that appealed to me the most in terms of the note breakdown, you know. So I'm looking at the vanilla and the tonka bean, the tobacco, the ambergris, all of these dark, warm, rich, sensual ingredient, the Cistus Absolute. And then I was looking at these two fragrances. These are both typically on the fresher side, if you will, especially when comparing it to some of the more oriental fragrances. And I mean that in terms of the olfactory classification. These are both blue fragrances, if you will. You know, one of them I actually reviewed, which is this one, Navy Black. And this one actually bears like an 80% resemblance to Bleu de Chanel by Chanel. Agate Black, I am also spending a little bit more time with. I'm not confident enough to do my review of this one just yet, but there is a fragrance that I would compare this one to, more of a hybrid, but I'll get to that when I do. Today, the focus of our attention is going to be on Warm Black. And this one has more of an ambery transition of color here at the bottom. And then of course, it kind of fades to black. It kind of has this really cool gradient on the front here. I do appreciate the presentation of a lot of Zara fragrances. And I also like the fact that the note breakdown is facilitated here on the back. So, I mean, I can just read the notes and I guess that sort of helps to guide what fragrance you want to buy, especially if you're at the store, you know, they don't have a tester or something like that. You really want to pick one of these up. They were $17.90 and they're about 11 euros. So it's pretty inexpensive. I'm really happy that I picked this up. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the fragrance. Let's start with the presentation. So the box for this one is quite simple. It just has the name of the fragrance, the name of the company. This is Eau de Toilette Concentration and it's a 3.4 ounce size. This fragrance cost me $17.90, very inexpensive. You can go ahead and check out the ingredients towards the top there. They put the price sticker right over the ingredients, so I had to peel it off for you guys, but feel free to pause your screen if you're interested. Here's the actual bottle. You might notice this brown ambery coloration towards the bottom. Pretty cool gradient, I would say, and all three in this collection have a different color to them. You have Zara written in the cap and a sticker at the bottom with your information. The cap for this one does click into place securely. You can pick it up from the cap, and the distribution on the atomizer is nice and wide. Let's continue with the smell. Now, as soon as the fragrance opens up, it will hit you with this strong tobacco note. And I love tobacco as a note in fragrances. I have a lot of tobacco-driven fragrances, one of them being Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford, of course. And with this one, you get a very similar kind of a tobacco. And yes, it actually has both tobacco and vanilla in this fragrance. So if you have heard somebody else out there compare this one to Tobacco Vanille or make a passing reference to Tobacco Vanille, they're absolutely right in doing so because it does bear a lot of resemblance to Tobacco Vanille. You have to think it has a lot of these sweet, warm, rich, autumnal ingredients, the tobacco, the vanilla, the tonka bean, those resinous qualities in the base. There's a little bit of an ambery appeal. And of course, amber is a fantasy note, and it's really just a blend of vanilla and a few resins. And that's exactly what's going on in this fragrance. It's ambery, but you also have that tobacco richness, which kind of leans in the direction of being like a like a Cavendish tobacco, like a cherry flavored tobacco. And you will get this ever so faint cherry nuance in the opening that kind of leans in the direction of Rouge Smoking by BDK, which is a fragrance that I totally love. But I do get more of that Tobacco Vanille aspect from this one. And while it does have those sweeter elements to carry it forward, it's not a gourmand fragrance because I really feel like the tobacco dominates in this fragrance. If there were ever a doubt as to what tobacco smells like in fragrances, just lay your nose on this one, you will know exactly what's going on. So there's also something in here that is kind of reminiscent of Spicebomb by Viktor and Rolf. I really don't know what it could be. This one has the coriander, ginger, saffron, cypriol, also known as nagarmoda, java wood. So it doesn't really bear too many similarities to Spicebomb just in terms of the note breakdown. But of course, the note breakdown should really only be used as a point of departure for sales associates. Most of the time, it's not indicative of what's actually in the fragrance ingredients wise. But yeah, really, this is a very heavy tobacco fragrance, kind of leaning in the direction of like a pipe tobacco. So if you like that kind of a tobacco smell, you might really enjoy this one. If you like the more herbal varieties of tobacco, I would definitely recommend you check something out like Versace The Dreamer or Tabaron Millésime by Creed. But if you like that pipe tobacco sort of a vibe with those sweeter undertones, fragrances like Tobacco Vanille, I have a feeling that you will really enjoy this one. And I'm also going to go ahead and say of the three here, Warm Black is my favorite. These two, I think they're very functional. They're very easy to wear. They would make for great office fragrances. Granted, the longevity of a lot of Zara fragrances leaves much to the imagination. This one is okay. You know, you're going to get about 5 hours from it. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more daring, something that's a little bit more interesting and intriguing and will pique your curiosity, I would definitely recommend that you go with Warm Black over some of these other fragrances, especially as somebody who is heavily geared towards designer fragrances. Perhaps you don't have a lot of familiarity with, you know, some of the Tom Ford private blends, you know, like Tobacco Vanille. I think when you smell this one, you're going to be greeted with a novel experience versus smelling something like Navy Black, and you're going to immediately be put in the mindset of a Bleu de Chanel. But yeah, I think it's a great fragrance. I really enjoy it. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, you know, it is a unique scent in the sense that it's not 100% similar to Tobacco Vanille. It's not 100% similar to Spicebomb. It's not 100% similar to Rouge Smoking by BDK. So it kind of does its own thing, but I think in traditional Zara fashion, pun intended, they do borrow elements from more popular designer and niche fragrances, and I don't think that this fragrance is an exception. In terms of the overall smell, I find it to be very pleasant, for my nose at least, but I can see how one of these two fragrances will do a lot better on a mass appealing level, whereas this one leans a little bit more in niche territory. You know, it's kind of niche level in terms of smell, not in terms of marketing or anything like that. But I think that it's a little bit more experimental in terms of the fragrance profile. Longevity is 5 hours. Projection is going to do really well between an elbow's length and an arm's length. It won't radiate too far out, you know, beyond your body. But I do think that if you freshly applied it and somebody is within, you know, a few feet away from you, I think they're definitely going to notice it. Versatility on this one, I think, is pretty good. I think it's perfect timing in terms of its release. You know, fall weather, best season to wear this one. If you're debating which of these you should purchase and you really want something that's a little bit more interesting, something that's a little bit more mysterious, something that's a little bit more daring, I would definitely go with this one because the autumn is like the best season to wear it in. And I think that it's definitely a unisex fragrance, even though I think a lot of people would associate tobacco with a more masculine, you know, type of a DNA. But I do find it to be quite unisex. I think that it would work really well in the colder weather, like I said. Maybe not the dead of winter just because of that 5 hour longevity. And I do think that it has more of a mature and sophisticated aspect to it. So if you're a little bit on the younger side, I would say check out Agate Black or check out Navy Black. This is perhaps for somebody who's 25 and up. And in terms of the presentation, I like the subtle differentiation with the color towards the bottom here to distinguish it from the other fragrances in this collection. So my final verdict on this one is, I don't think it's the most original fragrance, but I really like it. I think it's a great fragrance from the company Zara. I think for them to go in this territory is really interesting. I know they they have delved into the Invictus Aqua territory. They've delved into the Acqua di Gio territory. They've delved into the Valentino Uomo territory. So for them to now dip their feet into the Tobacco Vanille territory, that's really cool. And I'm hoping that, you know, Zara puts out more niche inspired fragrances, if you will. Again, it's still original, you know, it's not 100% a clone of anything else. It's just kind of, it will allow you to make that connection to that niche fragrance. And I really like the direction they're going in. So I'm enjoying this one, and I'm gonna be wearing it a lot more this coming fall. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in today. That was my review of Zara Warm Black. If you own or have tried this fragrance, I would love to know what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Also, if you are new to this channel and you took something of value from this video, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. It's easy and it's free. All you gotta do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, this way, whenever I do upload these videos, if you have notifications enabled, they will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future content. Thanks again for watching. I love you all. We'll see you next time. Bye.